Hi, my name is Andrea,
My name is Karla.
and we're going to be reviewing a little bit of chapter 10 from pages 375 to 2,
275 to 289.
280, 275 to 289. In the beginning of the chapter, in the beginning of 275, it talks about gaining compliance in interpersonal relationships, and fancy, it's just fancy words for saying that we bribe others to do favors for us, and we either return the favors or we just benefit from it by playing with their emotions a little bit. For example, um, when I was in high school, I would tell one of my friends, "Hey, I really need you to take me to the library. Can you take me to the library? It'd be great because if you do it, I can pass this class and I'll be able to graduate." In some instances, as we read along in these pages, some people threaten to get their benefits. So it's more of a, if you don't help me with this, I'm not going to help you with that. And the more you go into the chapter, it talks more about how you can play a little bit with other individuals' emotions and how actions and attitudes also go into effect for it. In page 281, we learn about three different mental attitudes. The first one being a selected exposure, which is when there's no harmony between individuals. The second is a need for reassurance, and ensures the need to seek out to confirm our decisions from other people. And the final being minimal justification for action, would suggest that a small rather than a large incentive is more effective at lowering harmony and creating an attitude change between people. And later on, we go into diversity in values and relationship powers. And here we discuss the different types of cultures and how they behave with one another. There are two types of cultures here, one being a high power distance culture, which they tend to learn to grow without authority, and they do they don't question authority, and they do what they're supposed to do. And some of these cultures um, are in Saudi Arabia, in Syria, and others prefer a lower power distance, and they value their independence and rather more comfortable with themselves rather than with others' expectations. And these cultures tend to be around Israel and Denmark. And in some of these cultures, there's also a difference between how they treat the men and the women, and which Karla will go into more.
So, usually for low power, distant cultures, for men, I know that they tend to have more power over situations rather than women. And what is it here? They usually low power people, they challenge authority figures. So when they are told to do something, they usually are skeptical of following. And high power people or high power distance people, they accept inequalities in society. So they're usually okay with just getting told what to do and everything. What is it? So high-powered people do not question authority. They are actually expected to be told what to do. Low-powered people also value their independence. They're less apt to conform to others' expectations. They need to understand why they should follow others' directions, basically. Every cultural background is actually different. It depends where they should take power over them or be repressed by them. To go off with males and females, females believe men are more concerned both with power and with content rather than relational issues. Um, Gender and the balance of power. Society views women as less powerful than men. Some relationships believe men should be more powerful, So men and women believe the men should be the one to just, have more of the power in decision making.
Like that macho 1950s type of mentality.
And but this also increases pressure on men to be more like, what is it? Just have like better,
like be the breadwinner.
Yeah. The status achiever. All of that. But nowadays, women now contribute to family income more. They're actually expected to work out of home and in home. Um, it leads to more relationship satisfaction and stability. Women are also expected to be more work specialists, health specialists, and life cycle specialists. Men engage in more efforts to exert control. I'm just like reading.
It's true though.
Yeah.
Because my husband is a welder, and he has coworkers that they don't let their wives work because they have like that mentality where they need to stay home, take care of the kids, clean the house, because they feel little if they put their wives to work.
Yes. I feel like that's like some cultures still have that mentality, and then some are just like more into like the oh, we're gonna split the work evenly, in work. Outside of the home they do work, and then inside the home they have to like do work too.
Yeah, like you have to split it evenly. Like me and my husband, we split everything evenly. And I have a coworker who her husband goes to school and doesn't work, and she's okay with it, but his mom isn't. He says that he should be working and she should be at home.
Oh my gosh, she's what's it, old-fashioned?
Yeah, very.
So going off of that, we're going into the next topic: sexual harassment. It's unwelcome sexual behavior in person or electronically. Some examples could involve sexual comments, jokes, inappropriate touching, sexual intimidation, having sexual rumors or pictures sent. There's a study that girls are more harassed than men, and like in public places and in work, what else? Media, technology, and power shifts. Women are very underrepresented in the media. Women or more men hold the position of, like, for example, anchors in like news, in the news, basically. There's more male voiceovers and like commercials and everything, more than women are. And whenever there's like women in like those kind of power situations, they think they're like lonely, or they're like what's the word?
A damsel in distress.
Something embittered, I guess. Yeah, and then there's also like stereotypes and like leading roles in movies, where like you have like a minority as a leading role, but they're like presumed as lazy, or like something other than like powerful, basically, when they're minorities. That's all I had for that one. But
you can take it.
Community power. It's good, right?
Yeah. The book was written like 10 years ago.
Yeah, these are like very old-fashioned.
And things still happen.
Yeah, they still happen. And some people are okay with it too. Just like the idea of like, oh, this is how it should be.
Yeah.
Because that's how I was raised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how my husband's grandfather is. Where you guys need to get married, then move in together.
Yeah.
You guys can move in together. And it's like, that's an old mentality.
I know. Times change, but they just don't, they're not moving with it, They just stick to their ideas. I think that's basically all it talks about for our section.
Emotions, controlling, and relationships, and sexual harassment.
Yes.